Okay, so today we will continue the rest of the topic of brain. We were talking about the parts of brain, right? Cerebrum, diencephalon, which is cerebrum also called forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. The uppermost part is the cerebrum, which is also called forebrain. Just below the cerebrum we have midbrain. Just below the midbrain we have pons. Just below the pons we have medulla oblongata, and beside midbrain and pons we have cerebellum. Don't get confused between cerebellum and cerebrum. These two, cerebrum is the part of forebrain and cerebellum is the part of hindbrain. Cerebellum also called forebrain basically, and cerebellum is the part of hindbrain. Cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata are part of hindbrain. So forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. And this, this long process, this green color long process is known as spinal cord. We were already studying cerebrum, right? Already started. So external features, sulci, gyri and lobes. This is the cerebrum. Internal features, basal ganglia and white matter. Let's understand all these topics, all these points. Cerebrum is the largest part of brain. It is the largest part of brain and egg-shaped organ, okay? If you see the diagram here, you can, it is very clear the cerebrum is the largest part of the brain and it looks like an egg, no? Okay. Yeah, so today we will study about the external features, sulci and gyri. Okay, so the entire surface of brain is folded with intervening grooves of fissures. Let's see this. Entire surface of the brain, this is the surface of the brain, and entire surface of brain is folded with fissures, and it's folded, it's folded, it's not smooth, but it's folded, and it's have intervening grooves. Grooves mean depressed part. See, this is the folded part, and here the depression, here we can see depressed part, again the folded part, again the depressed part, means it looks like an wrinkled organ which has lots of wrinkles. Yeah, intervening grooves mean depressions, okay? Depressed part, see, this is the depressed part, okay? So these folds are called gyri and the intervening grooves are called sulci. Yeah, let's see the diagram. If we zoom out this folding part, then it will look like this, no? This is the folding part. This is the surface of the brain. So this part, this folding part is the gyrus, and this this depression, this narrow portion is the sulcus, okay? So if we see here, this is the gyrus, this is the gyrus, and this part is the sulcus, okay? Yeah, so all this all foldings and all grooves together called sulci and gyri, and only one folding and only one intervening grooves called gyrus and sulcus, okay? Yeah. Okay, so why we have this folding folding surface of brain, why we have this wrinkles in our brain? Let's see. Sulci and gyri increase the surface area of brain, because brain is trapped within the skull and limited by size, okay? Our brain is trapped within the skull, trapped within our head, no? And it's limited by size. So but it is limited by size, but it has to store many information, many memories, and many information inside it, no? So our brain has memories and information every day new memories are brain is storing new memories, brain is collecting new information every day. So our brain is such a small organ, and it's trapped inside our skull, and it's limited by size. So how it will be possible to store so many memories and information? I will give you an example. Okay, so right now just imagine tomorrow you have a plan of outing with your friends, and you have a very small bag. So but we girls have to get ready, and not only girls but boys also, everyone has to get ready and look good. So we need many accessories, we need many accessories and many clothes in our small bag. So what will we do? We will fold our clothes, we will fold our accessories so that it can all get adjusted in our small bag. So we have to fold our clothes, right? So just like that, we have to fold our brain surface so that it can collect more information, because it has a limited place, limited in size. So we have to fold it. We have just like I give you an example. We have a small backpack, we have a small area, but we have to adjust many clothes there, so we have to fold that, right? So a brain also, sulci and gyri helps the brain to have a bigger surface area. Why now? Because increased surface area allow more neurons so that it can process more information. More nerve cells, more nerve tissue, more neurons means more information. So we need a bigger surface. So sulci and gyri folds our brain surface, so it can increase the, it can be adjusted in a small limited size also, and it can have long surface also, lengthy surface also. So yeah, sulci and gyri help the brain to get more information by increasing the surface area. Okay. Yeah, so gyri of each lobe, we have 4 lobes, right? Frontal, parietal, occipital and temporal. We will have a separate class on lobes of brain also. Today we will only focus on gyri. Okay, so we have gyri for each lobe. For each separate lobe we have different gyris, because gyris have important role. Okay, for each lobe it plays an important role. So let's see. Central sulcus. First one is the central sulcus. Okay, let's see. At the boundary between the frontal and parietal lobe. So this is the frontal lobe and this is the parietal lobe. No, this is frontal and this is parietal, and this is the boundary. This pink portion is separating the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. So this is the boundary which is separating the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. So here the boundary is the central sulcus. Okay, boundary is called the central sulcus, which is separating the frontal and parietal lobe. Now precentral gyrus. Next one is precentral gyrus. On the frontal lobe just beside the central sulcus, means this sulcus, this gyrus is situated in the frontal lobe and just beside the central sulcus. So this portion is called precentral gyrus. Now postcentral gyrus, on the parietal lobe just beside the central sulcus. See, this is the central sulcus, this is the parietal lobe. Just beside the central sulcus we have the postcentral gyrus. Okay, so this is the precentral gyrus and this is the postcentral gyrus. Precentral gyrus present on the frontal lobe and postcentral gyrus present on the parietal lobe. Okay, so let's repeat this again. Sulci and gyri are the foldings and intervening groups. The folding part is the gyri, and the depression part is the sulci. Okay, so we need gyri and sulci to increase the surface area. It gives a folding surface of our brain, so it increase the it helps in increasing the surface area in limited size. And sulci and gyri increase the surface area, which allows more neuron and more information. Each lobe has its separate gyri, because gyri plays an important role for each lobe. Today we have studied the central sulcus, precentral gyrus and postcentral gyrus. Central gyrus, the boundary separating the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. Precentral gyrus on the frontal lobe. Precentral gyrus present on the frontal lobe just beside the central sulcus, this purple portion. And postcentral gyrus is on the parietal lobe, and parietal lobe just beside the central sulcus, this orange portion is the postcentral gyrus. Okay, so precentral gyrus and postcentral gyrus. Okay, so we will continue our rest of the topic on my next video. If you have any doubt, let me know. Thank you.